Thanks very much. The Drone Academy is an initiative by the University of Ulster, as the title suggests, to teach young people how to program using flying robots. And I suppose the question that immediately springs to mind is why drones, and why do you think that would be a good idea? So this initiative sprung from our observation. A lot of people have noted that there is huge demand in industry for software developers, unmet demand, and we need to provide skills to young people so that they can get good creative jobs in that sector. But there are a number of problems, and one of the problems is that programming could be said to have an image problem. I think there's still a perception that it's a very mathematical kind of thing, maybe perhaps a little bit geeky or nerdish, and you have to have a certain kind of a mentality to understand it. And that doesn't, being mathematical and so on can be helpful, but there are a lot of different aspects to programming, and I think it's important to open up this thing and make it accessible to people who might not otherwise think of a career in programming. And what we thought by using drones, that we'd be able to show that programming is not just about writing lines on a screen and making things move about on a screen, but it's also about taking control of the physical environment that we live in. The other thing that sort of drove us in this direction was the observation that consumer level drone technology is accelerating very quickly. So not only are we seeing obviously a lot of drones being used in military applications, commercial applications, like the Amazon example that was mentioned, but also drones are now affordable for consumers, and in fact you can pick up very feature-rich, powerful devices for only a few £100s now. And importantly, those drones have open and programmable interfaces, so you can actually control the drones using a programming language like JavaScript. So the original inspiration for this, or one of the key inspirations for this, was an event called Nodecopter, and you can read more about Nodecopter on the nodecopter.com website. But basically, Nodecopter was an event that started in late 2012 in Berlin as part of the JSConf, which is a conference for professional JavaScript developers, and takes place every year in Germany. And somebody thought it'd be a good idea to organise a day-long event alongside that, where they would get in a bunch of drones and get a bunch of hackers in a room and see what happened. And that turned out to be a huge success. People had great fun hacking these drones, playing around with them, getting to do things they're not supposed to do, and so on. And the response was so positive that event was quickly followed by a second Nodecopter event in Dublin a few weeks later. Again, a lot of positive feedback from that. And in fact, the event has gone global. So I just took that from the website recently. There are about 26 events internationally in places like Seattle, San Francisco, Zurich, Oslo, Lisbon, New York, and so on, internationally. So it's a hugely popular initiative among developers. So in terms of getting an understanding of what people do at a Nodecopter event, which, as I say, was the inspiration really for our Drone Academy concept. Typically, the developers will break up into groups of 3 and compete in teams to see who can do the coolest hack on the day. So some of the things that developers will do, for example, this is a face recognition module that somebody built on the day, actually provides a sort of a pop-up, a heads-up display for your drone and does face recognition, so you can actually get the drone to follow an individual around the room. Somebody else built a module that connected it to Microsoft Connect, so they're able to control the device, to control the drone using gesture recognition. There's another one, somebody else connected the drone to Google Glass, so they could control it using the control thing on the side of their Google Glass device. And this was an event, this was a hack that was done at the first Nodecopter event. It's one of the coolest ones. Somebody programmed the drone to recognize the colour red, and when it saw the colour red, to charge. So the developer here is actually playing a Matador type game with the drone, and you can see a video of that online. So lots of cool things being done at these events, good fun and interesting from a technical point of view as well. So in terms of the hardware, As I say, these drones are now available as sort of consumer level toys effectively. And the most popular one is the one that we use and is normally used at Nodecopter event, which is the Parrot AR Drone 2, which is a drone that's about this size and has a lot of built-in sensors and instrumentation that make it useful and interesting to hack. So it has 2 cameras, a front-facing camera, which is 720p, so high definition camera, 30 frames per second, H.264 encoded video. There's a bottom-facing camera, which is primarily used for detecting its ground speed. It has Linux on the onboard, on the main board. Comes with built-in Wi-Fi for remote control, gyroscope, accelerometer, a magnetometer for sensing its direction, a pressure sensor, and an ultrasound sensor, which are for detecting the drone's altitude. So to say, these drones are very powerful devices in their own right, and because of all these sensors on board, you can collect a lot of useful information, and you can get it to do all sorts of tricks. The way the drone is normally controlled out of the box is with your smartphone or your tablet. So you can download a free app called AR Drone Free Flight, and that will allow you to remote control the drone. You can see the video on your phone. You can take a copy of the video that's streaming, recorded on your phone, and so on, and control it using these thumb pads on the screen, which is a very intuitive and easy way to fly it. But what we were interested in, and what really makes it a powerful tool for hackers to play with and for us to use it as a learning tool, is the fact, as I say, it's got an open interface that's documented and programmable. So you can actually send commands from your laptop to the drone over Wi-Fi and get it to do tricks that way. So to do that, you need to install, there's a couple of pieces of software you'll need. One is Node.js and the other one is NPM, Package Manager for Node.js. So Node.js, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, is a platform built on Chrome's JavaScript runtime, and it's designed for easily building fast and scalable network applications. So there's a lot of words on that screen, so just to highlight the important bits. It's based on JavaScript, so if you have any programming experience at all, chances are it's in JavaScript or a similar language. So JavaScript is very widely known language, it's quite easy to learn, and it's a good tool for learning to program these things. It's event-driven, so it means that it's designed, it makes it easy to tell the drone to respond to event data from their sensors. So if it sees a particular thing, it can respond to that. If it changes direction, it can respond to that as well. And it's good for data-intensive real-time applications. So it's good for controlling a drone or a robot in real time, which is what we're doing. So to install NPM, you just run that command at the command line, and that will pull down the AR drone framework. So to control the drone in a Nodecopter event, and it's the same framework we use, these hackers built this free framework called AR Drone, and basically that's a library that will let you connect your laptop to the drone. Once you've done that, you can actually use a simulator on your laptop. You don't even need a drone to do this. Run a Minecraft-style simulator, and you can issue commands to the drone in the simulator and see how the drone responds, and that's quite a good way for kind of trying out the various commands and seeing how they work before you actually start to play with the drone and break it. The drone itself has built-in Wi-Fi, so the way you connect to the drone is just as if it was another access point. And once you connect that access point, you have a direct peer-to-peer connection with the drone, and you can start to send commands to it. So the way what we normally do is we start off with a simple script. So this is JavaScript, and just to quickly take you through that, the first line, require AR drone, that just calls the library that you're using to speak to the drone. The second line, create client, basically creates a connection to the drone. The third line, client.takeoff, as it suggests, tell the drone to take off. Client.after 4000 says wait for 4000 milliseconds or 4 seconds. Then tell the drone to stop, and then tell it to land. So very simple. Save that in a simple text file, and then run it using this command, node-demo.js. And if everything's connected properly, the drone will take off, hover for 4 seconds, and then land again. But of course, there's a lot more you can do with the drone than that there. You can all sorts of commands like tell it to go up, down, left, right, front, back, clockwise, counterclockwise. Also has built-in animations, so you can tell it to flip left or right, and there are about a dozen different animations that are built in and tricks you can tell the drone to do. You can also capture images or video stream from the drone as it's flying. So we took the Drone Academy, the no-copter model, and came up with this concept called the Drone Academy. As I say, it's primarily aimed at teaching young people how to program. Our pilot event, we ran it in Uri. We partnered with a social enterprise there called Neo Ireland, and Eve Early, who runs Neo Ireland, was particularly supportive and a champion for this initiative from the start, so we're very, very grateful for that. We ran it in October last year in a converted Victorian bathhouse in Uri. And we had a bunch of A-level students from local schools who came along. We had about a dozen students came along to that, and they had a ball. So the important thing was everybody had a good time, and I think they learned quite a bit about the basics of robotics and JavaScript. So the way we structured the day, basically we started with a talk, a bit like this talk we were given this morning. We then showed people how to use the drone with their phones, downloaded the software, got them to run the script. That took us up to lunchtime or so. And in the afternoon, we went online and we took some of the modules that other people have been developing, like the facial recognition, like the Matador module and so on, and installed those and played around with those. So it was great fun. And one of the things that was very gratifying for us out of that was we had ongoing engagement with those students. So we set up an after-school coding club, and most of those people are still sort of attending that on a weekly basis and learning through that. So some images there. That's the bathhouse in Uri where we ran the event. And as I said, it was a great success. So our plan going forward is to run more events, obviously, run bigger events. We'd like to run an event in Belfast fairly soon this year. And obviously we want to engage with schools for that. So if there are any teachers here interested in talking to us about that, by all means come and have a chat with us after this talk. We want to engage with students and also professional developers. We're thinking of running like a no-copter type event alongside the Drone Academy event, because we think it'd be useful for students to engage with professional developers and learn from them in that kind of environment. And also, because there are so many hack events happening around this, the technology in this space is constantly evolving, so there are new kinds of drones coming on board, smaller, faster drones with longer battery lives and new features. So GPS tracking, for example, is becoming an option where you can tell the drone, you can draw a path basically on a map and send the drone off and it'll follow that path without any additional control. Swarming, so you can control multiple drones at once and get them to fly in a coordinated swarm and things like that. So we're quite excited about the potential of this technology and the opportunity to engage with students and show them the cool things you can do with software. Thanks very much.